Alright, I'm going to take my combat here to the next level as amidst my gradual practice, I'll start going from server to server all over the game, all over the world essentially, and see what types of challenging opponents I'll come across that are wanting to take matches or sets. Like opening up a 1 versus 1 panel for the entire global expansion of the Dragon Ball FighterZ community. I'm hoping to encounter a lot of people and learn a lot of things as I go along the way in my road back to Orange Square. I'll come across a lot of different matches to catch up where I need to be at, likely the rightful place where I should have been at by now or should be at by now. I'll need to crank up the type of opposition and its variety so I can be used to fighting players stronger than me in many different ways that I can pick up on. The observation here is not so much to defeat the enemy but I'm wanting to go up against, but rather learn how to patch up the holes in my own gameplay so I can be more effective or assertive. There's only so much I can learn for a person that's not generally accustomed to fighting games or fighting game terminology. Hell, even in my younger years when I used to play Soul Calibur and Street Fighter or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or the Ready or Die, there was only but so much that I could learn while being naturally ignorant of fighting game terminology. And it was a lot that constantly went over my head. I just honestly just tried to just collectively press buttons, or press buttons with a purpose that all flow together, which come from learning the game in order to learn what you need to press or how you need to press it. I feel in terms of yellow tier combat, this isn't where I need to be at. Yellow is where I'm stuck at because it's so much work to break a habit of gameplay on this competitive platform. Falling back into a button mashing habit means I'm going to keep staying in the same place no matter what happens or how good I get or become, and it's irritating. It's highly irritating because I go brain dead at times when I'm bored or tired a lot playing this game. My head starts hurting and I don't really know what to do, so I just press buttons. Other times I overthink this game and the simple crap goes right through me, rather than just playing the damn game and not reading my opponent so strongly. But it still happens. The more I wish to play this game, this means that this game isn't the last thing I need to pick up. It feels more like it has to be the first thing I pick up, so I can wake up faster and be more alert over getting into it later in the day or later in my proceedings and not responding sooner to crap like I would on a different day or a different time placement or in a different consistency. In a sense, I both like this and really hate this because it asks more of myself than what's already given to another platform of personal competitive choice or choosing. No sooner do I get back into the saddle for competitive on all games I'm active on, it feels like I have to hit the pavement running very fast. And it just doesn't change because it's like I'm always spending time being behind. I take my break from playing this game, that way I don't have to keep playing it so strongly, but I end up just being more and more behind the more breaks I take from it because it becomes exhausting trying to play this game because it's not something I normally want to play. It's something that only recently became something that I like playing a lot. But even then, it still has its toll. But some things just don't change. I need to hold on to why I want to continue going through with this decision to resume in-depth exposure to this video game, the Dragon Ball FighterZ community. As I keep going forward, it's highly necessary that a person always needs to remember where they came from and do come from, and the means of being here in the present to properly resume in the correct path forward for true valued progress. When you know how it begins, like when you know how a journey begins, you also know how it ends because you stay to the book. You stay to the script of how you are writing it. I know what I'm fighting for. I want my orange square back. That's the whole reason why I want to go through with all of this, to be that good in my eyes. I don't care about being good in the perception of others. Yet at the same time, it still bothers me in some sense, as if I do still care what people think about me for some stupid ass reason, and I need to stop that childish bullshit. I don't need to care about what other people think of me. People always are going to think I'm less of what it is I am playing anything because it's me. I'm thought less of because I'm not seen around a lot doing this, nor do I play frequently, owing to other platforms I juggle occasionally. Yet I take few hours to then vaguely improve on, and it's still to be thought less of because I'm not consistent or generally known to the gameplay. Condescension is normal, and I'm aware of that. I'm aware it's because of the color placement and the ranking system that plays a part in a whole lot of unnecessary prejudgment of one's opposition before having a need to actually fight anybody. So looks can always be deceiving. Other players will never see that I'm good or worth any credible merit because of how I choose to play. That's untidily done for any incomplete success to this game's standards of a normalcy. My comfortability of playing here and there when the interest hits has cost me chances to be fighting at the next level logically. That next level placement that I missed out on here is what's given me next level placements on other competitive platforms. So now I need to put it to vice versa so I can try to play catch up here for all intents and purposes, as best as I'm able to. Achieving orange was a feeling of accomplishment to me. I don't need to be at the top in pink or to be a pink to know that I'm good enough to be around them or to be around other pinks. Being orange square meant that much to me because it means that a whole lot that I was doing at the time was actually really good and it meant something. Learning about mashing or how to do selective mashing is what got me to orange square elevation very early on in my journey here, before losing the same day to another that got him his orange square by demoting me in a rather humiliating match. And I choose not to be angry or spiteful about it, though, because it was my inexperience at the time that brought about that crushing loss on myself. And that's a rather normal series of events in itself for a set of matches. On top of that, upon reflection, it was a valuable match because I wasn't ready to fight at that level like an orange tier. Good ways back I achieved the orange, but I was only a Super Saiyan rank when I did it, which is vastly lower compared to where I am at now and all the hard work I was able to accomplish over the course of this same year. Having since lost my orange tier in that devastating match, I was able to sustain being a yellow and honestly just being a steady yellow at that. And lastly, there are no ill intentions with this game, thankfully. I bought it of my own choosing. A friend had wanted me to pick it up, so I went on ahead, took a look into it, watched some stuff on it to see what was interesting about it. It looked interesting. Nobody forced me to play it. Nobody is forcing me to play it. I don't need to play this game to get back at people. I don't need to play this game all the time to prove something. I don't have to prove anything to doubters, haters, selfish whiners that only see what's wrong. I don't have anything I need to prove to anybody. I don't need to play it all the time to create disbelief to dumbasses that want to believe what they want to believe, which is likely less than that of their surroundings. And it's not anything comparable to the starting experiences I've had from past platforms of the competitive scene, like in Call of Duty or Transformers or in Destiny or Rainbow Six Siege, where a lot of these ignorant cancers were the case that drove me to be what I am today in the competitive scene, which isn't completely in the healthy sense. But this is different with a positive cause for once. Like, for the first time, this is actually good that I can be of a competitive scene for a good sense and in a good mindset. And I have to understand the end goal I seek on this game. I have to understand that the end goal I seek cannot be fully applied here like it can be in other games. Wanting to be among the best in the world is what I want. But to be among the best in the world to this video game, or to be iconic to it, is not fully conceivable, as it has already been done by a fair handful of esports gamers known to this fighting genre's platform. Their names are known throughout the grapevine constantly for this meta, and from previous competitive metas of the fighting genre scene. The notion of challenging the world's strongest is a highly unlikely matchup to transpire during my run across the DBFZ competitive community. However, there is a different way I can probably go about this. The elite fighters of this franchise, sometimes going hand in hand with streamers, seem to be marked in the way of Twitch streamers and the premise of streaming matches in high-end competitive itself. I know how I am. and I take nothing less than the best, which is the pinnacle of true improvement. So in this case here, I need to revise the premise of my goal's continuation, or at least until I reach another milestone someplace along the way. Seeking out good competition comes from being in the know of updated events or media, which is easier said than done, as I cut this close a lot of the times for all the games that I'm playing. Again, and juggling consistency also means that I also fall behind on everything in terms of also needing to stay in the know of everything. That's something that YouTubers and Twitch streamers and Mixer gamers don't go over or review too strongly because it can be seen as a moment of weakness or senses of weakness in the competitive scene. They choose not to go over that, in unknowing full well that nobody can keep up with everything. But some people give that perception like they stay in the know of everything, or they know everything about everything that may be to that one platform or to a series of platforms, when that can be misconstrued in a lot of different ways. Some people can, but it also lacks in other areas. There's always give and take with this. Keep that in mind. It's something that many people in the gaming scene, when they go to honor or glorify or publicize their gameplay, they are not always honest about these things, and it pays to keep that in mind as a strong point of observation. Some people are honest, some people are not always honest. Many of the viewers are always aware of these things or do good justice to pay mind to things, so it doesn't always have to be explained. It's just always just seen. My layout for continued gameplay here is very simple. I need to slowly be in the know here and there about what's going on for this game so I can have an idea of what to have a focus on, but without any of the excess stress of needing to know too much of the fighting game's terminology. That's not always needed for me. At the same time, I don't need to burden myself with excess knowledge I can't really use compared to other games, nor would I need to be tediously involved with or have a lot of headache invoking with juggling this consistency with other platforms just to cause a mass imbalance of being shit at everything at that point. I also don't need that. I'm not wanting to burden myself again mentally with further competitive juggling of more than one consistency that nobody will ever know about nor care about. It will only just be my own personal pain I have to deal with. My best characters to apply in Team Sense revolve around Trunks, Videl, Tien, Base Goku, and recently Goku Black. It started out with just Yamcha and Tien originally, just those two fighters. Then it branched off into something decent, and into some decent fighter diversity, I feel, in being exposed to a lot of great players and a lot of combat variety at that. I feel a few new characters, or a few more characters I can gain better knowledge of and how to play and apply slowly, mounting in my favor, and so continuing to spread out my operations like I'm doing, I feel is the best way to apply what I know to different fighting combos, different fighting variations, different teams, different tactics, or hell, just plain fucking mashers as far as I'm concerned. This is always going to be mashers in this damn game. The auto combo kind of implements mashing. And so I also got to be ready for that too. I will still seek out the best as they stand presently across the platform of fighters, and I'll fight them along the way in my journey. If the opportunity presents itself, I'll go for it. Why not do it? Pink tiers and highly ranked players obviously are going to be very strong or very experienced, and that's normal. In addition, that's also the point in being better at the game, so it never stays easy thinking that you can get ahead or roughly stay one step ahead. Things are always going to be changing. There will also be players that naturally will not or may not take me seriously no matter what I do because of where my placing is currently, despite me occasionally playing at a level higher than where I'm presently at now. And that's okay. That's a part of life. It's not the first time I'm going to be or would be facing gaming elitism, and it won't be the last. It's a matter of just proving people wrong with what you bring to the table or have been doing all this time is all that amounts to. As long as it has a sense of merit or value, then your point will be stated, and There will be no further degradation or condescension given towards you. For the time being, at least. People are very fickle. Personally, it feels like I always have to prove people wrong because my type of comfortability, or what comes normal to me, is wrong to many other people. And I personally don't give a fuck about what most other people think or what most players' thinking is that's not mine. If it's not my style you're using, I don't need to give a fuck about it. Also, my training time will need to slowly increase, so I have to take time away from other games, more that can be applied here to give my team synergy and application more smoothness to it, so I'm not always dropping all the combos I'm doing. I think giving up Fortnite to play FighterZ, I feel, was the best competitive decision to rest on, as I haven't regretted that choice yet. And I can only continue to see a lot of bigger things happening in my future playing this game competitively. So, all I have to do is continue my training and see where the road takes me. Hopefully I can still arrive back at Orange. Peace. Let me get into this.